And we are live in 3, 2, 1.
2G, shout out to Choopy. Oh yeah, 2G, 2G nasty, wavy, busy, 2 for real, I'm here. When I'm about to climax, bet your bae gon' tell her head. I told police that ain't marijuana, it's my meds. If I ain't smoke, I take your gun and clean this clip out on your head. Boy, you stupid, only person I run from is my BM. I ain't Nike, but I might just do it like I'm down. All my flesh is really Nina, I'ma hit him with the angles. And it's fucked up, cause I got his mans too. Ain't get jammed before until I came and jammed you. Got a perky, I might mix it with the Zan too. He don't want no smoke, I out him like a when I lay down, she taught me like my thoughts got handles. And when he down, I stop him till he at the man. I'm 2G. 100 round drumming this fucking your shit up. Swear that your wheels, then I watch your shit pick up. Scene say he don't mind becoming a killer. It'll be the last thing to lose with my niggas. You want me to want you, I ain't Bryson Tiller. Say you got niggas, go fuck with them niggas. I got gorillas that beat on your niggas. I'm spitting this venom, go visit a dentist. I'm knocking your shit out. These niggas acting so shy, bitch, I been out. Bitch, this weed not fluffing my pillows. I got a chopper that shooting his hip out. She see my sting, now he running like get out. I seen a fiend on a truck in a big house. That nigga married, now his bitch a widow. I seen this bitch every day in the window. One day I'm gonna show her my extendo. Same extendo that her nigga ran into. She fuck with the lines like a banjo. We flipping that work for a bando. He for a nigga we can't stand though. He think we can't get out of the jam though. My buzzo he free out the candle. Ayy, he home but I lost my man though. Damn, I ain't gon' stop moving grams though. Pussy undies out and I see him looking. Let him pass, I'ma keep one cooking. Seen a bag, we went and took it. Had us like, but it's cool, we shook him. Oh yeah. 2G.
What is going on? It is your boy Ricky Spanish, aka Ricardo Spanish, and you are watching the Bust It Up Podcast, episode 10. I am your host. Welcome back. It has been a really brief but long hiatus for me. Oh my God, it feels good to be back. I feel good back on the mic. But we are here back with another episode. And I'm trying to do something different. It's just me this time. It's just me. And I have some things on my mind I'd like to vocalize. So with everything going on this year, it has been, I think it exacerbated a lot of people's, like a lot of things people were able to be distracted by was kind of put on halt, and they were kind of like forced to focus on themselves and, just realize what shit was important or not. Like with the pandemic, once you realized you couldn't go out and everything was closed, you kind of view your weekends different. You kind of view your time different. And, I guess with that magnified attention to yourself that just came out of nowhere because of the pandemic, I think it caused a lot of people to become unhappy because they started realizing things because they weren't so distracted with all this other bullshit. And, I was speaking to some friends who were affected by the pandemic, and not just because, work or money, but just in everyday life, that they would move a certain way. They would, they just became unhappy with the new day-to-day. And it's part of why I wanted to do this podcast solo, because in my head, when I hear things like that, and this is something that a lot of people know that they don't know, or they just forgot. Like, one of the things that I try to express to all of my friends, who are going through anything, negative, is that you have the power to be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. You can create your own reality. And I think that information is helpful to know, because if you're going through something that you don't want to go through, that information can give you, some type of solace, some type of I don't want to say control, but it gives you a good feeling of control. When I say you can create your own reality, from someone who, I don't want to say not negative, but people who are going through life and feel like life is going against them. Some people feel like, oh, life sucks. Life is this and life is that, and that's just the way it is. And they're right. To an extent, like whatever you perceive is right. If you think life is shitty and life is hard and life is difficult, you're right. But you only feel that way because it's conditioned in you. You've been going through that for however many years of conditioning of, like, for example, like I noticed a lot of people I know, they almost feel odd when they are having a good day, as if they're expecting something to go wrong, as if, it's not normal to feel good. It's not normal to have a good day. And, naturally to me, that concept in itself is bizarre. So when I say you have the power to change it, that comes down to like multiple things. You have to believe that you have the power to change it. And then you have to train your mind to be able to change it. I think it's like a lot of things. Sometimes we forget, like the mind is a muscle. We are the way we are because of repetitions in our behavior, our upbringing. Our environment shaped us to be, who we are. Religion, you follow a set of practices. They kind of mold you as a person. So no one ever so people are brought up that way. They're conditioned to believing a certain thing. They're conditioned to reacting a certain way. Like you hear bad news or whatever, you're conditioned to react in a way where, it's not like, oh my God, really? Blah, blah. You're conditioned to do that. Like with that type of conditioning, you set yourself up for the comings of what your life is going to be. I'll say this now. Emotion is the driving force behind manifestation. What do I mean by that? I mean, the emotion that you decide to have dictates your reality moving forward. I'll explain. When you feel anger, when you make a decision in anger, when you think about something and you let that thought continue on and it makes you angry, you just kind of switch yourself on to a reality where you are forced to experience more anger, because that's where your vibration is. You're aligning yourself with the emotion and the energy of anger. And so that's where you'll be placed. So think about the universe as like this big field of energy, right? The universe is vast. There's everything and anything in here. Imagine every single possibility that could ever happen. It could be as minuscule as the same reality going on now, but in another reality, my phone is like that. Like simple shit. But all possibilities exist. So when you do things, when you make choices, you move on to another possibility or another lifeline. Let's call them lifelines. Lifelines are just different possibilities of what your life could be. And the best thing about that is you can choose. You can choose what reality you want to live. The way you choose is managing your emotion to take you to that lifeline. It seems like I'm all over the place, but bear with me. I'll start off with the alternative space. So think about the alternative space as a giant space of where every possibility exists, right? Your thoughts, right? The way your thoughts work, however they are, if they're in a certain direction, like let's say you, I don't know, you're not the happiest person, you're a negative person, and you choose to react negatively to things. Because you're putting that energy out there and you choose to react negatively to things, you put yourself in a lifeline that is filled with more negativity because you're attracting yourself to it. You're aligning yourself more to it. So when you stress about things like traffic or missing the bus or not having enough money, you're attracting that energy of missing more buses, not having enough money. And you kind of, there's like this bubble that you kind of put yourself in. Like, you'll experience negative things, therefore you'll keep thinking negative thoughts, therefore the negative experiences keep happening. And, you know, a lot of people are conditioned to react negatively to a lot of things. Like, they're just conditioned from the way they were brought up. And when I see my friends going through turmoil or whatever this year is bringing, they kind of fall into that slump of, you know, being down on themselves, or, you know, feeling hopeless, or, you know, not in control. And, you know, it's paradoxical, but I'll explain more later. But universal energy is paradoxical. So if you want, think about who you are as a person, right? There are reasons why you are the way you are. Let's say you grew up religious. Now you're really strict with yourself. You don't get tattoos. You don't drink. You don't do any other bullshit. Or let's say, you know, let's say your father or your mom was abusive, and now you have a hard time forming relationships because of that. Just anything. Just there's a reason for it, you know, why you are the way you are. The best thing about that is that does not have to be who you are for the rest of your life. You can choose your lifeline. The reality that you're going through right now, it's a combination between the actions and choices and your thoughts that you have made up until that point. This is why you're experiencing the reality that you're experiencing now. And to choose your own reality, all you have to do is direct your thoughts elsewhere. Like I know I would talk to sometimes, and you know, no one likes to hear just be positive when they're dealing with something. And I think, you know, to some of my friends, I've kind of come across that as that way. And that's kind of insensitive, and that's not what I mean at all. Like, the brain is a muscle. If you feed it repetition with something, it'll catch on, and eventually it'll start doing it yourself. So if you're someone who reacts negatively and you want to change that about yourself, it's the awareness that you have to have that you're doing that. Because once you have the awareness, you're able to act counter to it. So let's say I'm in traffic, right? This is how lifelines work. Every time you make a choice, you go into another lifeline closer to whatever energy you're transmitting. I'm explaining right now. All right. I'm in traffic. It's slow. So I complain. God damn, it's fucking traffic, bro. And move. God damn, let me over, bro. You see, I'm trying to get over it. All this thing. All these emotions that you have when you react negatively in traffic. What happens is, because your emotions are the driving force behind manifestation, that emotion of anger that you're expressing in traffic aligns you with more situations that will kind of coerce you to try to react in an angry way. Now, let's say I'm in traffic, same scenario, same thing. But now I choose a different reaction. I choose to react positively. You know what? I'm in traffic. let me spend some time thinking about what I'm gonna do tomorrow, plan my day, just something. And it's not like you have to think, oh, let me just think positively. Train your brain. If it's feeling negative, train your brain to at least find something positive. It could be small, it could be minuscule, but the purpose is to keep doing this enough, to keep having the awareness to catch yourself when you're reacting negatively, to try to find something positive. Because if you do that enough times, the repetition in your brain will tell you, okay, so he keeps trying to find positive shit. It's almost like a muscle. You keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, your brain is going to get it. And then after a while, your brain is going to be able to do it by itself because it's been trained to do so. Like, we've been conditioned for so long, for so many years, to react negatively to news or react poorly to whatever. If you take the awareness to not do that and choose a different reaction, your brain will start feeding into that and be able to train itself to have a new thought process. So what happens when you implement that new thought process? You catch yourself whenever you act negative. No, I'm good. I feel good. I feel whatever. It's not that, just train yourself to find one thing. You don't have to try to make the whole experience positive, because if you're just not feeling positive, you're just not going to feel it. The point is to train your brain at least a little so that it can work towards to seeing more positive. What happens there is that once you choose a positive route, right? What happens? You choose to align yourself with positive energy, even though you can't see it at the time. You may be down in the dumps, but it's important to do so, because if you align yourself with positive energy, you will get positive lifelines back. And at first, it starts out small. Like, let's say you just started thinking positively. You started trying to find something positive in every situation and everything you see. You start seeing little signs from the universe, like you'll find $1 here, you find some coins there. You'll see some interesting signs that, probably are just posted up from a store, but somehow have a deeper meaning to you, like it calls to you a little bit, like shit like that. The universe speaks to you. So you kind of switch on to better and better lifelines. Now imagine if you did that every single day, you made it a point to find something positive. Now you're no longer conditioned to react negatively. Now your mind is automatically finding a positive and shit. So what happens with that, it becomes effortless. And before you know it, you're living a positive life, because that's all you see at a certain point. When I say you can create your reality, whatever you think about, whatever your mind can perceive, it's possible. It's just a matter of choosing. Every possibility is out there. Every possibility, where you're a doctor, where you're a lawyer, where you're a firefighter, where you're a nigga from NASA, astronaut. You have the power to manifest that. You just have to choose. How do you choose? Well, what type of person is an astronaut? What do they do? Are you the person that, like, the person you see yourself as, your best version? Are you doing the things that your best version is doing? Because if you're not, then you're not aligning yourself with the best version of you. And if you're not aligning yourself with the best version of you, you're probably not going to feel happy with yourself, because there's a part of you that feels like you're more than what you are now. And that's true. You're not what you want to be. Like, and this is one thing, you got to identify those low vibrational emotions, because the key to changing your life is the awareness that you can. Like greed, envy, jealousy, hate, just low vibrational emotions that if you adopt and you feel and you let them take you over, you will attract energetically more situations where you will feel that way, thus giving you a more negative experience in life, because of all these low vibrational emotions that you allow into your aura. And so, okay, creating your reality, right? Who are you? Who is the person you want to be? It could be anything. You could be anyone, literally. If you can think about it, you can do it. Now, and this is why I brought up a lot of the conditioning. Sometimes a lot of your conditioning and traumas can hinder you manifesting the life you want. Let's say you want to be a doctor and, I don't know, not a doctor. Let's say you have a great voice and you want to be a singer, but you grew up with your family, who always brought you down, who made you feel like shit. So you never had the courage to be like, I want to sing. I want to do this in front of people. And that feeling of, I want to do this, but I feel I can't because I'm restricted by my trauma, is going to eat you alive. And that can cause depression in some people until they heal that trauma and break away from that. Like the person, let's say, I don't know, whoever you want to be, it's possible. You have unlimited amount of choices, possibilities, probabilities. You can make that happen, but you have to align it. You know the law of attraction, right? If you think about it, you'll attract it. And to a certain extent, that's true. See, the energy of the universe is real paradoxical. It's like, let's say you're not a confident person, and you want to attract confidence, or you want to be confident. Like somebody who knows of the law of attraction would think, all right, well, I just have to think about being confident and I'll be it. And that's kind of true and it's kind of not. It's true in the sense that if you feel like you want to be confident, it means that you can, which means that it's possible already. But at the same time, if you chase wanting to be confident, that's like just another side of the coin. Chasing means you don't have and you are not. And if you're not aligning with the energy that you are, and you're aligning with the energy that you want to be, it's not going to come to you. Like if I want to be confident, I just have to let go of wanting to be confident and be confident, not worry about it. Not worry about not being confident, not doubting myself. And, to break through a lot of these barriers, there's a lot of trauma that you have to get through. Like maybe I was always brought down by my mom, and it's hard for me to be confident. So that's why I'm not being the person I want to be, because it's hard for me to relieve myself of a certain trauma. It doesn't mean it's not possible. It's just a little bit harder. And that's where you kind of have to like put more awareness in your day. Who are you? Who are the person you want to be? Who is the person that you see yourself as? What is the best version of you? What do they do? What is their routine? How do they get up in the morning? What do they eat? Do they eat good? Do they work out? Do they care about their health? Do they care about improving their brain, reading? Do they care about the progression of themselves and their family? Who is this person that you want to be? What do they do? Once you figure that out, you show up as them every day. You be that person every day. I was thinking about doing podcasts for a while before I did it. But me thinking about it, I guess in a sense, led me to doing it. But me thinking about it only wasn't going to make it happen. I had to get my equipment. I had to practice, before I ever shot a video. I had to practice what I would look at, what I would sound like, how I would divulge information on here, how I could do that. But I had to have this idea in my head of what I wanted and then apply action. And that's where you have manifestation. The emotion that I had behind it was, I want to say, I'm not going to say, of being, without direction. But it was something that I wanted to do because it was another way. It was another outlet. It was another way for, like, I do skits, right? I enjoy skits. I enjoy doing videos on YouTube. But sometimes, if I didn't feel the motivation to not do it, sometimes I would think, well, is this for me? Is this what I want to do? And then I would have this podcast where I could, have it as an outlet to express myself and express my emotions and have more content. And once I started doing that, I wasn't just a person who makes videos on YouTube. I was a YouTuber. I became a podcaster. It was just certain actions you take to when you want something for yourself, when you want to be the person that you say you want to be. Okay, well, what does that person do, and are you doing it? Are you saying that you want to be this way for shits and giggles? Are you happy with the way you are now? And that's not a bad thing, to be happy with who you are now as a person. But the real power is in growing, and to grow, there has to be a constant flow of mini battles with yourself, something to overcome, something to grow you as a person. It can't be just, this is who I am and this is just how I am. That's so limiting. Like, you are more than that. You're much more than that. You're the power you have, the mind power that's possible. Like, I know a lot of people don't necessarily buy into the universe and, the mind. But I think once you start to apply it and once you start to embrace it, maybe for shits and giggles, if you can make yourself laugh, you'll make yourself in a good, like before, if I had trouble getting up for work, I would tell myself a joke or something funny, or I would dance, or I would just thrust in the air like out of nowhere. It was something stupid, silly, but what it did was powerful. What it did was get me in the emotion of feeling good and jiggy, and that emotion manifested the rest of the day being solid because I was able to ride off that emotion. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I feel really good this morning and I dance a little bit and then I leave and then I'm back to being like, oh my God, I wish I was in bed. Nah, that's where it gets tricky, because you have to feed that emotion to keep feeling good. Yeah, just know, if you want to change your life, identify who you want to be. Who is that person? What do they do? And then be that person. Just do it. Forget about all the excuses, because I know we feel like we have so many. But once you take the time to identify what you really want as a person, you'll see that a lot of that time that we didn't have was wasted on bullshit. And it was wasted on being someone who we don't actually identify with. And I guess, with myself, just procrastination. But you can change your life. You just have to know that you can and want to and feel worthy that you can. More on this. I'll be back with some more. 1.